a question to Brandon, please hit the raise your hand function. We'll start with Matthias.
Brandon Mateus from Time Out Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft. In 2020, you only allowed one sack in a whole year on the college. How do you think that number talks about your pass protection level in a conference like the SEC?
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes of, my abilities and what I can do. In the offense last year, I set the protections, ID'd the mic, and, made adjustments based off blitzes. So, that's just a credit to my preparation.
Nick Hill, then Blake Topmeyer.
Brandon, what's something that you've been working on a lot since the end of the season, and what do you hope to show to the scouts tomorrow based off what you've been working on?
Yeah, so the two main things I've been working on is flexibility and explosiveness. I think those are the two main things that I really looked back on during the season and thought I could improve going to this point in my career. And tomorrow I just want to go out there and have fun. This is something that I've done my whole life. As far as playing football. So tomorrow I just want to treat it just like that and not make it too big of a deal.
Hey, Brandon, Blake Topmeyer with the Knoxville News Sentinel. Was wondering where are you training at, and then also what do you feel like your best selling point is, your best attributes, to NFL team?
Yeah, so I've been training actually here in Knoxville at D1. Been training with Devin, Corey, Jake, and his crew. So I've been down there. I've had a blast, worked very hard, and transitioning to the next question. I think the three things that I bring to the NFL team probably be intelligence, work ethic, and toughness. I think those three things. As far as intelligence, in this offense last year, I set the protections, I did the mic in the run game, I did all of that. And as far as work ethic, man, a guy like me, I'm gonna come in the building, be the first one there and the last one to leave every day. And then as far as the toughness, early in my career, I battled injury, but, these past 2 years I've been healthy. And, so I feel like those are the things I could bring to an NFL team.
And then I was also wondering, have you met Josh Heupel yet? And if so, what was that interaction like? What's your impression of him?
Yeah, I met him here, when they were working out, but it was mostly just pleasantries as me introducing myself. So that's kind of how that was.
We'll go to Orlando, then Patrick Brown.
Brandon, what NFL centers do you watch, and how comfortable are you in an outside zone blocking scheme?
Yeah, so the center that I watched the most is Rodney Hudson. He was with the Raiders, but recently went to the Cardinals. And, I feel like that's who I try to, kind of model my game after. And in an outside zone scheme, I know we worked really hard on that in the offseason last year about the different keys and techniques of outside zone. So I feel really comfortable being an outside zone scheme.
Thank you.
Hey, Brandon, I don't know how much time you've had to maybe look back at your career, both at Alabama and Tennessee throughout this process. I'm sure you're focusing on the present and the future, but kind of what goes through your mind when you look back at your 6 years of college football and some of the things you had to deal with, and maybe what are some of the high points, maybe some of the tougher moments you had to overcome during the course of your time in Alabama and Tennessee?
Yeah, well, the first thing I say is it's definitely been a wild ride, but I'm grateful for everything. Coming in Alabama as a freshman, all wide-eyed and getting to this point. I think some of the high points, I would have to say, winning 2 national championships, that's definitely a high point. I was able to be on the team and see, the guys that are first rounders and see how they work and how they prepare and some of the rare talent guys. So that's kind of some of the high points. And then moving on, my career at Tennessee, I was able to come here and obtain a master's degree. Not many people can say that. And then, as far as the 2019 season, he was able to go to a bowl game, go to the Tax Slayer Bowl. That was kind of a high point. And, throughout my career, I had battled injuries early, and now I'm healthy in this point. So, it's been a wild ride. I've had some of everything, and, I took some blows, but I got back up, and fought harder. So that's kind of how I put it into a nutshell.
John Wilkerson.
Brandon, good luck with everything that you're trying to accomplish tomorrow. Just curious, in terms of what's the process like in terms of meeting with NFL teams, hearing what they have to say about you, and what's the step up in terms of intensity in the workouts preparing you for this opportunity, as well as the focus on techniques and other things like that?
Yeah, well, it seemed daunting at first. Like as soon as the end of the season, I was able to go to 2 All-Star games, one in Orlando and one in Hawaii. So I had those opportunities to get in front of teams and kind of showcase my abilities. And just talking with teams, it just becomes like talking to anyone else. They ask you about yourself and they tell you what they think about you. So those type of things, it's been easier as I went on. But at first I was a little nervous because it's the NFL. You dream about things like that. Just to have the opportunity, I feel like I'm blessed.
Back to Blake.
Yeah, Brandon, when you're in your situation, a guy that could be a late round guy or an undrafted free agent, which would you actually prefer? Is there any upside to going as an undrafted free agent and being able to choose the team that you go to, or would you still rather be drafted?
Yeah, I mean, as throughout your childhood, your goal is to be drafted, but either way, I just want an opportunity to be able to, go in there and showcase my abilities. Because I mean, from a kid, I've always had this dream of, going and playing for NFL. So just to even get my foot in the door and even get an opportunity, I think that's basically what I'm really focused on.
And do you think you translate better as a center or a guard in the NFL?
Yeah, so I played a lot of center, so obviously I'm more comfortable there. But early in my career at Alabama, I played some guard in a couple of games. So I feel like I can play both. And in my training, I feel like that's kind of things I've been focusing on too, is being able to be versatile. So maybe work a little bit of guard one day and the center here, and just be ready for anything when it comes tomorrow and have to do drills.
Eric Kane.
Hey, Brandon, have you sought outside counsel maybe from former teammates, at Alabama and at Tennessee that have kind of gone throughout this process, maybe some, former offensive linemen, just to kind of pick their brains about this process and what to expect when talking with teams and going throughout this draft sequence?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the two people that I talked to the most is Lester Cotton. He was a former Alabama offensive lineman. He's with the Raiders now. And J.C. Hassenauer with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I've talked to those two people and, just getting any kind of feedback, whether it was through about agencies and different things like that, and then translating to like things I need to work on for pro day or what to expect when I get to the league, getting rookie minicamp. And just things like that. So they've been very helpful. And, any stupid question that I may have, I just ask it to them and they're willing to answer. So, they've been there for me. I'm grateful to have those resources like that.
We'll finish with Vince Ferrara.
Brendan, you mentioned being ready for anything. And part of the combine every year, the story is that you get asked really crazy things. They give you, the Wonderlic test and all that kind of fun stuff. What are some questions that kind of made you chuckle, or you're like, wow, what is that you've gotten along the process? And what's that been like to get people kind of digging into you about your time at Tennessee?
Yeah, I know. Like, so far I ain't got too many weird questions, but I think the weirdest question, about like my relationships. So like, if I have a girlfriend outside, so like kind of those things moving into aspects outside of football, those are the things you kind of be like, oh wow, you want to know that. But as an organization in NFL, it's good to know everything about a person. So I understand when I get those kind of questions though. But yeah.
Thank you, BK. That concludes today's media availability.